Our topic for today is about reasoning. So, reasoning is mainly drawing of conclusion from known or assumed facts. Okay? So, the two keywords here will be your known and assumed facts. Okay? So, there are two types of reasoning that we are discussing in this topic. We have our number one is our deductive reasoning, and our number two, which is your inductive reasoning. So, the first type of reasoning that I would discuss is our deductive reasoning. So, what is our deductive reasoning? So, deductive reasoning is a conclusion by applying general ideas. It is uh, an applied observation in order to predict an outcome, wherein it is meant to demonstrate that the conclusion is true based on the topic or based on the logic of our premise. So, sa deductive reasoning, you should have assumptions, laws that are widely used in the observation. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag nating premises. Okay? So, yung premises natin, these are assumptions, rules that are widely held idea or observation. So, this is the premise. So, using this premise, we may assume that this premise is fact, and then uh, by iterating these premises or by analyzing these premises kung true naman siya, and then if we would have the conclusion, if that conclusion would jive to the premise, that it would not over validate it, therefore we may say that the conclusion is true. Okay, so balik lang ako dito sa deductive reasoning natin. So deductive reasoning meant to demonstrate that the conclusion is true based on the logic of the premises. So premise, conclusion is true based on the logic of premises. Okay, so yung premise natin are assumptions or laws or rules or widely held idea or observations. Okay? So, in our deductive reasoning, dyan pumapasok yung tinatawag nating syllogism. Okay? So, what is syllogism? Probably yung syllogism is ito yung deductive reasoning where you arrive at a specific conclusion by examining the ideas of your premises. So, through syllogism, ma-identify mo kung yung reasoning mo, yung deductive reasoning mo is true or false. Okay? Kasi yan, let's say, meron tayong idea. Let's say this idea is idea A. An idea, let's say that this idea describes B. Okay? And that this describes C. So therefore, I may say that since B describe A, since A describe B or is described by A and B describes C, therefore I may say that A can describe C. Okay? So ito yung magiging conclusion natin. If this idea is accepted, so therefore the reasoning is true. Okay? So take note na itong dalawang idea na to or two held idea is sinatawag nating premises. Wherein these two ideas may be true, okay, or assumed to be true, or maybe a rule or tawag natin a law that would describe each other. Okay? So to conclusion natin, based on these two idea may be true or false. But if this idea or this tinatawag nating conclusion natin overextend, okay? Or nag-overgeneralize siya. So pag nagkaroon ng generalization, nagiging false to or nagiging invalid to. Okay? So, take note that yung deductive reasoning natin is para yung funnel. Okay? Wherein, this funnel, let's say, ito yung funnel natin. From the two premises, pumapasok yung mga ideas natin. Okay? Pumapasok yung ideas, yung mga laws natin, uh, rules, mga theory natin. Sinasagat natin yan into your conclusion or yung mas generalized na idea natin. Okay? But if this conclusion will be over generalized as I have said, so therefore it may be invalidated. Okay? But if this conclusion will jive with the two premises, okay, by examining the conclusion, nakita mo naman na nag-jive sa premises mo, and by the rule and theory that it would not violate any of this. So therefore, I may say that the conclusion is valid. So that is your deductive reasoning. Okay. So let's have example number 1. So the logical argument will be all men are mortal. Okay? Jacob is a man. Therefore, Jacob is mortal. So from this logical statement, okay, let's identify the two premises. The first premise or the first idea is that all man is mortal. All men are mortal. The second premise or the second idea is that Jacob is a man. And then the conclusion is Jacob is mortal. So, from this idea, mapapansin nyo that these are our premises. Okay? May dalawa tayong premises dito. Wherein yung rule 1 is all men are mortal. Okay? Second rule is that, or the second assumption is Jacob is a man. So, from this, yung conclusion natin is Jacob is mortal. So, from this, we may say that since this conclusion did not overgeneralize any of this statement, so pwede natin na this can be a valid deductive valid deductive reasoning. So as you can see, pag ginawa natin siya ng syllogism, all men are mortal. So man and that man connects the two statement. Okay? Wherein, let's say this will be our element P. Okay? And mortal will be our element A. And of course C. Jacob will be our element C. So connecting our element C and A, since B uh, B is connected to A and C is connected to B. So therefore I may say C can be described by A. Okay? So from this, Jacob is mortal. So the two premises are, let's say, valid. Okay? So let's analyze the conclusion if it is valid. Okay? So Jacob is a name and Jacob was classified as man. So since Jacob did not overgeneralize, okay, or the description to Jacob is based on the premises and it is not overgeneralized, so therefore we may say that Jacob is mortal. Okay, so valid to. So this will be our example number 1. So let's have our example number 2. All integers ending in 0 or 5 are divisible by 5. Therefore, 905 is divisible by 5. Okay. So note that this is our premise. Okay? 0 or 5 are divisible by 5. Okay? So, next statement na pwede nating ilagay dito is 905 is ending with 5. Okay? So, this can be our second premise na pwede nating connect yan. Okay? So, from this, we can conclude that 905 is divisible by 5. This will be our conclusion. Okay. Is this conclusion true or false? So, para malaman mo kung true yung conclusion mo or false siya, so, di-divide mo yung 905 divided by 5. Okay, so 1, 5, 40, 8, 40, 0, so 5, 1, so therefore 5, 0. So therefore 905 is divisible by 5. So the conclusion is true based a general rule and theory that all numbers ending in 0 and 5 are divisible by 5. Example number 3. All homes renovation costs more than the estimate. This is our first premise. Second, the contractor estimated that my home renovation will cost 200,000. So conclusion, so hence, therefore, my home renovation will cost more than 200,000 pesos. Okay? So as you can see, the first statement is an assumed fact wherein all home cost more than the estimate. So renovation, okay? Uh, home renovation costs more than the estimate. So dito, the home renovation is was described by the estimate, okay? And the contractor estimated that my home will cost 200,000 pesos. This will be our second premise, okay? Wherein titignan mo dito yung idea na nag-bridge sa kanila is the estimate estimated, okay, or yung estimated or yung estimate value, okay, home renovation and the estimated value. So let's say the contractor describe the estimated value. So let's say this will be our uh let's say C described by B, and our A describes B. So, yung dinidescribe nito or sinasabi ng premise number 1 nito is that it is more than the estimate. Okay? So, more than the estimate. So, uh, the second idea naman is that sinasabi niya na yung estimate niya is 200,000. Okay? Which describes our B. Our C. Okay? So, ito yung B natin, yung estimate ng home renovation. So, in our conclusion, na-conclude dito that yung home renovation niya, okay, which is our A, okay, that would be, of course, described by C. So, A can be described by C will cost more than 200,000 pesos. Okay? So, therefore, since wala namang binviolate or in-overextend na rule tong example number 3 natin. Therefore, we may say that this is a valid conclusion. Okay? So let's have another example. Cacti are plants. And all plants perform photosynthesis. Therefore, yung probable conclusion natin dito is therefore cacti perform photosynthesis. Okay? So as you can see, yung cacti natin is our first premise. Cacti is a plant. And then yung second premise natin is all plants perform photosynthesis. Okay? So take note that our uh our joining element will be the plants. Okay? So let's say this will be our B, element B and element B. And cacti will be our element A. And photosynthesis will be our element C. So as you can see, A describes B and B uh, is described by C, or C describes B. C describes B, which is it performs photosynthesis. Therefore, I may say that since may syllogism tong dalawang to, I may say that A can be described by our C. Okay? So, based on the conclusion, cacti perform photosynthesis. Okay? If you evaluate the premises, we all know that all uh, plants perform photosynthesis. And cacti is a type of plant. Okay? So, from this, since hindi naman niya in-over-generalize yung ating conclusion, so therefore, this is a valid statement. Okay? So, another example, all noble gases are stable. This is our first premise. Second premise is helium is a noble gas. Okay? So take note that these two theories, uh, two supporting facts, di ba? From our elements. Okay? So the conclusion will be helium is stable. Okay? So mapapansin nyo, yung connecting word dito or element dito is our noble gas. Okay? So noble gas describes A, and also it has an identity at C. So therefore we may say B is equal to A. So therefore uh, C is equal to B. Therefore we may say that A is equal to C. Okay? And also our conclusion is validated. Okay? All swans are white. Jane is white, therefore Jane is a swan. Okay? So, in this point, you can see this is true, di ba? And also, this is an assumed premise, okay? So, pwede natin i-assume to na true if it is describing a person that Jane is white, okay? But the wrong thing is that yung conclusion natin, di ba? In-overgeneralize niya na Jane is one without indicating that in the first statement that maybe Jane is a name was one, ganyan. So, assumption, since there is no delegation that Jane is a swan, or a kind of swan or an immovable swan, therefore, this is invalid because it was overgeneralized that Jane is a swan. Okay? Next is all musical instruments produce sound. Chimneys produce sound. Therefore, chimneys are musical instrument. So, yung dalawang connecting word natin is yung sound. Okay? Yung producing of sound. But take note that jeepney is not a musical instrument. Ito yung sinasabi na naman ni nating overgeneralization. Okay? So also, take note that premises are statement that support our conclusion. Okay? If the conclusion is true based on the existing laws or recognized rules or theories accepted by man. So, since jeepney is not a musical instrument, therefore this is invalid. Okay? Inductive reasoning is drawing general conclusion from repeated observations of a specific example, which are called conjectures or conjectures. So, conjecture therefore is an educated guess based upon repeated observation of a particular process or pattern. So it may be true or not. So in this inductive reasoning, your conclusion is based on repeated events, wherein that events at a specified time, or let's say specified season, or at a specified pattern will occur. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng conclusion based from that event. Okay? Yung gamit din nito, itong inductive reasoning, is sometimes it is used to uh, predict sequences. Okay? So through inductive reasoning, so let's say malalaman mo yung mga differences nila, a specified sequence of numbers. So makukuha mo yung pattern nila. So therefore from this pattern, you can produce your own answer through inductive reasoning. Okay? So another thing guys is that itong inductive reasoning na to, nagbe-base siya sa mga events na paulit-ulit. Okay? Wherein at that certain event, pwede mangyari yun or pwede hindi. Okay? So therefore, inductive reasoning will not depend on the rules. Okay? Will not depend on rules, on theory or something. It would depend on the events that were happening happened in the past. Okay? So sometimes it is true when it occur, or sometimes it might not be true if it doesn't occur. So take note na yung inductive reasoning natin, if you are using it to logic, hindi siya palaging tumatama, because it is mainly supported by the previous events, or the previous repeated observation from that general rule. Okay? So example of this logical argument, we have every windstorm in this area comes from the north. I can see a big cloud of dust caused by a windstorm caused by a windstorm in the distance. So a new storm is coming from the north. Okay? So mapapansin nyo dito na yung statement niya, or premise ng statement na to, is every windstorm from this area comes from the north. Okay? I can see a big cloud of dust caused by a windstorm in the distance. So, pero sabi ng statement na every time na mayroong windstorm, okay, it is coming from the north. Okay? So, dito yan. So, therefore, the educated guess for this one, or yung conjecture natin para dito, is this one. A new storm is coming from the north. So, this will be our conjecture. Or, pwede rin natin itong tawagin na conclusion. Okay? So, take note that conjecture is an educated guess. Okay? For inductive reasoning, we have during last 15 years, a tree has produced mangoes, fruits, every other year. Last year, the tree did not produce mango fruits. So, this year, the tree will produce mango fruits. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo dito guys na during the last 15 years, ito yung kanya. Ito yung tawag ito yung events. Okay? So, for that 15 years, daw paulit-ulit na yung tree will produce a mango fruits every other year. Yan yung sequence niya. Every 15 years na may produce, hindi siya. For 15 years, may bubunga siya every other year. Okay? So, from the point of view, last year daw, hindi siya nagbunga. Okay? Last year, the tree did not produce mango fruits. Ngayon, since the tree did not produce mango fruits, therefore nagkaroon ngayon ng conjecture na this year, ito yung maging conjecture natin or yung conclusion niya. So educated guess niya na this year the tree will produce mango fruits based on the sequence or repeated events last 15 years. Okay? So, ganito yung inductive reasoning. It will always base its answer or its conclusion or its conjecture from what happened in the past. Okay? Next. Math leaves for school. At 6 a.m. Math is always on time. Math din will always be on time if he leaves at 6 a.m. So, this is an uh, inductive reasoning. Why? Because we base our logic, okay, from our observation. Okay? So, observation muna. So, Matt leaves for school at 6 a.m. Ito yung first observation natin. Second observation is that if he leaves at 6 a.m., he will always be on time. Okay? So, yun yung second observation natin. So, that would be our second observation. So, from this pattern, we would generate our educated guess, which is our conjecture we're in. But then, will always be on time if he leaves at 6 a.m. So, this will be our conjecture or our conclusion. Okay? So, let's check this example whether this is deductive or inductive reasoning. So, my mother is Irish. She has blonde hair. Therefore, my mother has blonde hair. Everyone from Ireland has blonde hair. So actually, we can use syllogism here wherein yung magko-connect natin dito is yung mother and she, di ba kasi mother, parehas lang sila. So which will have our Irish and blonde hair. And then next is sinabi niya dito that everyone from Ireland has blonde hair. So ano siya? So mapapansin nyo, based on our deductive and inductive reasoning that pag deduction, di ba? Pag deduction, it is set by rules po na. Rules that are set from two premises that are fact, di ba? Fact, totoo. So, pababa siya. Okay? And then, pag deduction naman, is these are observations. Observations papunta sa facts kung totoo siya. Okay? So, mauna dito yung observation. And then, yung pattern natin. Okay? And then, our theory. And theory or hypothesis. And then, yung conjecture natin. And then, yung theory, pag totoo. So, sa deduction naman, nauuna lagi yung facts, di ba? Yung theory, yung hypothesis, tapos yung observation, tapos confirmation. Okay? Kung confirm ba yung conclusion mo. So, in this sense, di ba? Ang nauna kasi dito is, na-observe mo yung nanay mo is Irish. Okay? And then she has blonde hair. So, therefore, from this, you did not state facts, okay, that is general to both of the premises wherein ang in-state mo lang is yung observation mo, okay, from this, ito. Kailangan kasi pag deduction dalawang fact, di ba? Ito kasi observation to, di ba? She has blonde hair. So from that, ngayon since na-observe mo yung pattern na yung nanay mo ay Irish tapos may blonde hair ka, na karoon ng conjecture, okay, or hypothesis na everyone from Ireland has blonde hair. Okay, so this type of statement is induction. So paano natin gagawing paano natin siya gagawing deduction? So ganito siya. So para maging deduction yan, ang gagawin mo is simply state mo yung nationality ng mother mo, di ba? Yung dito. So, my mother is Irish. Okay? Ngayon, ang gagawin natin, since this is a conclusion na linagay mo, so, gagawin ko siyang premise. Okay? So, gagawin ko siyang premise that everyone from Ireland has plant here. Okay? So, hindi na siya observation kasi sinuport mo yung premise mo, itong first premise mo ng another fact, di ba? Another fact or let's say assume fact from deductive reasoning into a conclusion. So, therefore, my mother has plant here. Okay? So, this type of reasoning is induction dito. And this will be deduction. Okay? So, pag induction, aside from the pattern and the repeat or general conclusion from repeated events, it is also drawing of conclusion from observation. Okay? So, nag-draw ng conclusion mo dito based on what you have observed that your mother has plant hair. Okay? So, in this statement naman, nag-draw ka ng deductive conclusion dito based on the statement that everyone from Ireland has plant hair. Take note that this is an assumed fact. Okay? That would be your second premise. So, from that, which is, sabihin na natin yung first premise mo is a fact, since these two premises are fact or assumed fact, therefore, pwede nating sabihin that from that assumed facts, nag-confirm ka ng conclusion mo which is yung my mother has plant hair. Dito kasi, let's say yung my mother is Irish, let's say fact to, okay? And then, nagkaroon ka ng pattern na she has blonde hair. Ito yung observe mo. Okay, without knowing na hindi lahat ng Irish ay blonde hair. So, therefore, from this, nag-assume ka or nagsabi ka ng conjecture mo na everyone from Ireland has blonde hair. Okay? So, yun lang, no? Pag deduction, dalawa ang facts or assumed facts in order to have observation. Okay? Or confirmation. Next is, dito naman, is observation muna. Itong mga to. Okay? And then after that observation, tinignan mo yung pattern. Okay? So, from that, nag-create ka ng conjecture. Ayan. Okay. So, applications of inductive reasoning. Okay? So, applications of inductive reasoning. So, first application natin is number patterns. Okay? So, as I have said, yung inductive reasoning natin is a drawing of general conclusion from repeated observation. Okay? So, first application natin will be ito, number patterns. Or sequences. Okay? So, if I would give an example such as 3, 7, 11, 15, and 19. Okay? Find the next number. So, how will you find this using inductive reasoning? So, ang gagawin mo ngayon, you will draw a pattern from this, di ba? So, hanapin mo, bakit siya naging ganon? So, lagi na natin ginagawa to since elementary. So, therefore, paano siya naging 7? So, it's either mag-add ako ng 4, di ba? Mag-add ako ng 4, or mag-multiply ako ng 2 plus 1. Diba? So, next is you would draw another pattern. So, let's say, mag-multiply ako ng 2 plus 1. Okay, kaya magkakaroon tayo ng 7, di ba? So, pag nag-add ulit ako ng 4 dito, so, we will draw a pattern. So, ito naman, pag magta-times 2 ulit ako, plus 1, so, this will not create a pattern. May second example, di ba? So, therefore, dito, sa aking first solution, which is mag-add ako ng 4, mapapansin mo that this would be a possible pattern. Okay? So, from that possible pattern, pwede ko mag-draw ng conclusion ko na ang susunod dito will be 4, which is the answer, which is 23. Okay? That is observation natin through pattern. Okay? So, next, let's say number 2, we have 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Okay. So, how about that pattern? So, from this, titignan mo kung ano yung mangyayari. Okay. So, dito, pag mag-add ako ng 0, ano ba yung i-add ko dito para maging man siya, di ba? Mag-add ako dito ng 0. Right? So, 0 plus 1, 1. So, next is, ano yung susunod na pattern? Kapag mag-add naman ako ng 0 dito, magiging 2 naman siya, which is 0 plus 1 is not 2. So, how about if I would try adding it 1? So, nagiging 2 siya. And then, next is, mag-add ulit ako ng 1 dito, magiging 3. Then, mag-add ako ng 2 dito, magiging 5. Right? So, then, adding 3, kakaroon ako ng 8. Then, adding 5, magkakaroon ako ng 13. So, from this, hindi ako makakuha ng magandang pattern. Okay? So, next na gagawin ko is dito. So, pag mag-add ako ng 1 dito, so, therefore, mag-produce ako ng 1. Pag mag-add ako ng 0 dito, mag-produce ako ng 1. Then, pag mag-add ako ng 1 dito, mag-produce ako ng 2. Pag mag-add ako ng 1 dito, mag-produce ako ng 3. Then, mag-add ako ng 2 dito, mag-produce ako ng 5. Okay? Which is wala pa rin makuha. Tama ba? So, which means mali yung pagkakuha natin. So, anong ang kailangan kong gawin? So, iterate natin ulit yung pwedeng gawin. So, mapapansin mo, pag pinag-add ko tong dalawang to, I would produce 2. Right? Which is, pag i-add ko naman tong dalawang to, magpupulis ko ng 3. And then, pag in-add ko tong dalawang to, magpupulis ako ng 5. Pag in-add ko naman itong magkasunod na number na to, magpupulis ako ng 8. And pag in-add ko yung magkasunod na number na to, magpupulis ako ng 13. Okay? So, as you can see, dito, sa pattern na to, diba? So, in order to produce the next number, you should add the previous number from that middle number. Okay? So, dito, nag-add tayo ng 1, mag-produce tayo ng 2. So, ano yung previous sa 2? 1. Diba? So, pag mag-add tayo ng 2, mag-produce ako ng 3. So, ano yung previous sa 3? 2. Diba? Pag mag-add ako ng 2, mag-produce ako ng 5. So, ano yung previous sa 5? 3. So, pag mag-add ako ng 3, mag-produce ako ng 8. And then, ano yung previous sa 8? 5, di ba? Pag mag-add ako ng 5, mag-produce ako ng 13. Ayan. So, therefore, what would be your expectation dito? So, ang i-add ko dito is yung previous sa 13, which is yung ating 8. Di ba? So, ito yung previous dyan. So, therefore, adding 8, I will produce my answer, which is equal to 21. Okay? So, as you can see, and so on and so forth yan. So, dito, pag mag-add ako ng 3 dito, then mag-add ako ng 5 dito, so, magproduce ka ng 13. Okay, magproduce ka rin dito ng ating 34. Okay? So, isipin nyo, no? Itong number system natin, which is 1135. 1135. And then, 11358. Ayan, tuloy-tuloy yan. Okay, hanggang sa produce natin yung mga susunod na numbers dito by simply adding the number before the number. Okay? So, ito yung sagot. This is 21. Right? Next example is yung 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Okay. So, ano yung probable na magiging sagot natin dito? So, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So, pag mag-add ako ng 1, 2. Pag mag-add ako ng 2, 4. Pag mag-add ako ng 4, magkakaroon ng 8. So, pag mag-add ako ng 8, magkakaroon ng 16. Diba? So, another is, pag mag-add ako ng 1 dito, magkakaroon ako ng 2. Pag mag-add ako ng 2, magkakaroon ako ng 4. So, pag mag-add ako ng 4, magkakaroon ako ng 8. So, therefore, pag mag-add ako ng 8, magkakaroon ako ng 16 dito. So, pag mag-add ako ng 16 dito, magkakaroon ako ng 32. Diba? So, another is, pwede natin gawin is ito. So, isipin mo, hindi lang naman ganyan, diba? So, how about if I would multiply that? I will multiply 2 or double the number. So, if I have 1 here, if I would multiply 2, I would get 2. Again, if I would multiply 2, I would get 4. And if I would multiply 2, I would get 8. And if I would multiply 2, I would get 16. And therefore, if I would multiply 2, I will get 32. Okay? That would be the next probable pattern for this one. So, dalawang solution na pwede. So, pwedeng ito. Pwedeng ito. Tama ba? Okay? So, let's have another example. So, let's say, for example, number 4, if we have 3, 5, 9, 15, 23. So, dito, pag mag-add ako ng 2, okay, pag mag-add ako ng 2, I will get 5. Pag mag-add ako ng 4, I will get 9. If I would add 6, I would get 15. And if I would add 8, I would get 23. Okay? So, from this, another pattern is that pwede kong kumuha ng pattern ulit sa baba nito para mas makan natin, para mas magkaroon tayo ng idea kung ano yung pattern nito. So, therefore, this can be 2. So, 6 minus 4 is 2. 6 minus 8 is 2. So, therefore, probably 2 rin to. So, therefore, this may be 10. Okay? Adding 10 to 23. So, therefore, I may say that my answer will be 33. Okay? So, that would be our example number 4. for our number patterns. Okay. Okay, so second application will be number 2, making conjecture. Okay, sa mga example kanina, may conjecture na sila dati. Okay? So, how about if we would make our conjecture? Take note that conjecture is an educational guess, di ba? Parang hypothesis yan. So, if sabihin niya tayo, pick a number. So, gamitin natin yung example natin. Pick a number. Okay, pick a number. Any number to, multiply the number by 8. So, first procedure, multiply the number by 8. Then, second procedure, add 6 to the product. And then, divide the sum by 2. Then, fourth is subtract 3. Okay. So, ngayon, yung tanong is, make a conjecture about the relationship between the size of the resulting number and the size of the original number. Okay. So, yung original number na sinasabi nito is yung pipick mong number. Okay, ito yung sinasabi nating original number niya. Okay? At yung sinasabi yung resulting number naman, okay, itong sinasabi yung resulting number is yung number after this procedure. Okay? Or resulting number after this procedure. So suppose that my original number will be, let's say, first original number. So original number. So let's say I will pick let's say 3. Okay? So from this, gusto niya mag-multiply tayo ng 3. So first procedure, we'll have 3 multiplied by 8. Okay? Which is equal to 24. So after daw tayo mag-multiply ng 8, mag-add tayo ng 6 sa product nila. So 6 plus 24 equals 30. Then after makuha natin yung product niya, after makuha natin yung sum nito with 6, so therefore we'll divide it by 2. So 30 divided by 2 equals 15. And then subtract it by 3. So we'll have 15 minus 3 is equal to 12. So original number. And then ito yung magiging resulting number. So ilalagay ko dito, no? Resulting number is 12. Okay. Next, let's say I will pick 5 or I will pick 4. Okay. So if I will pick 4, so ganito lang din ulit gawin natin. We will multiply 4 by 8, which is equal to 32, then 6 plus the product 32, we'll have 6 plus 32 is 38, and then 38 uh, 38 divided by 2 is equal to 19, and then we will subtract it by 3, so 19 minus 3 is equal to 16. So if I will pick 4, so the resulting answer will be 16. Okay, so next, how about if I will pick 5? If I will pick 5, so we will have 5, 5 multiplied by 8 is equal to 40, and then the product, which is 40 plus 6, so 46, and then 46 divided by 2, so it is equal to 23, and then we have 23 less subtract 3, which is equal to 20. So if I will pick 5, we will have 20. And then make a conjecture about the relationship between the size of the resulting number, size of our resulting number to the original number. So as you can see, our original numbers are 3, 4, 5. Tapos yung resulting numbers natin is 12, 16, and 20. So what would be the relationship between the resulting number and the original number? Can you think of it? Diba? So pag kinuha mo yung product, yung sum nila is 15, 20, 25. Okay. So pwede kong sabihin that the sum of the resulting and the original number is divisible by 5. Okay? Pag kinuha ko naman yung yung tawag ito, pag kinuha ko naman yung, let's say, product nila, so 3 times 12, 36, 4 times 16, 64, so 36, 46, 5 times 20 is 100. Pwede ko sabihin that 36, 46, and 100, they are all divisible by 4, diba? But probably, ano yung pinakamagandang conjecture natin dyan? So, the relationship between my original, okay, yung relationship ng original sa resulting number ko is original number is always 4 times the resulting number. Okay? So, yun yung pinakamagandang conjecture natin as the relationship between the original number and the original number and the resulting number. Okay? So, the resulting number, maging resulting number natin, sa mapapansin nyo is always 4 times. Okay? The original number. Actually, marami kang makikitang relationship dyan, di ba? Okay? Between the original and the resulting number. But particularly, yung pinakamagandang relationship nila is that if you would multiply, okay, the number or the original number 4 times or times 4, okay, you will have the resulting number. Okay? So therefore, if I would pick 6, pag nagpipick ako ng 6, if I would pick 6, pwede kong sabihin that my resulting number will be 24. Okay? So if you would make a conjecture, make sure that it would affect the next, yung next patterns natin. So, of course, pag magpick ako ng 6, magkakaroon ako ng 24, di ba? Pag magpick ako ng 7, maybe 7 times 4 is 28. If I would pick 8, maybe I will have 32. And if I would pick 9, so maybe I have 36. And if I would pick 10, I would get 40. So, by proving this one, so, if I would pick 10, so let's say I would pick 10, so 10 multiplied by 8, I will have 80. So 80 plus 6 will be 86, and 86 divided by 2 will be equal to 43, and 43 less 3 will be equal to 40. Okay? So therefore, the perfect conjecture for this one that would sum all this that would summarize all this relationship between the original number and the resulting number is that the resulting number conjecture the resulting number is 4 times the original number. Okay? Bakit yung conjecture mo dapat it would summarize all the events or all the all the repeated observation in order for you to predict what is next without even going into this solution. Okay? So, pag sinabi mong I will pick 11, so sabihin ko agad sa'yo, so therefore you will have 44. Diba? Uh, how about if I would pick 12, so I will have 48. Diba? Parang gano'n. Because, based on my observation and based on my conjecture, the resulting number from the resulting number is 4 times the original number, and it's based on the fact on this conclusion. Okay, so therefore that conjecture is true. Okay, how about if kinuha mong conjecture yung mga sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Yung pag inad mo yung 3 at 12 naging 15, naging 20, nagiging 25. So can you draw a specific conjecture from this? Okay, so pwede mong sabihin that if you would the sum of the resulting number in relationship to the original number is always divisible by 5. Okay, so if I would draw 55, okay, from that conjecture, can you give me the exact answer? No, right? So therefore, from this conjecture, or the best solution for this one came from the observation wherein the resulting number is 4 times the original number. So if I would say I will pick 55, what would be the answer? What would be the resulting number? So 55 times 4 will be 220, diba? You may have the proof using this pattern again. Okay? So ayan. So note, if you would make a conjecture, make sure that that conjecture will represent all this one. Let's have another example in making a conjecture. Okay, so using the data in the given table, apply inductive reasoning to answer each of the questions below. So let's have okay. So A, if a pendulum has a length of 49 units, what is its period? B, if the length of the pendulum is quadrupled, what happens to its period? Okay. So, pag gagawa tayong table, ganito yung table ng pendulum at yung period niya in heartbeats. Okay? So, that's a length of pendulum. So, ang unit of measurement niya is units. Tapos, period. So, parang yung time niya to, no? So, pendulum, yung unit niya is in heartbeats. So, according to the table, at a 1 unit of length, we will have 1 heartbeat. So, 4 units of length, we will have 2 heartbeats. So, at 10 units of length, we will have 3 heartbeats. At 10 units of length, we will have 16 I should say, we will have 4 heartbeats. At 25 units of length, we will have 5 heartbeats. At in 36 units of length, we will have 6 heartbeats. So the first question is that if a pendulum has a length of 49 units, okay, so if the pendulum has 49 units, what is its period? Okay. So first, ano nga ba yung pendulum natin? Pag napapansin nyo, yung pendulum natin is, let's say, it is an object, okay, an object with a mass that is tied to a string, okay, tied to a string. So yung length na tinutukoy nito is ito. Ito yung length natin. And of course, yung kanya, yung pag-swing niya will be, yan yung tawag to, yun yung period of the pendulum, or yung pag-swing niya from its initial position to another position. Okay? So, pag nag-swing yan, magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na amplitude. Okay? So, from that, pag nag-swing yung pendulum natin, so yan yung sinasabi niyang period ng pendulum. Okay? Kung ilang oras yung pagkapunta niya at is pagkapunta niya, pag-swing niya hanggang sa makapunta siya sa kanyang center or equilibrium position. Okay? Kung ilang beses siya mag-swing, parang gano'n kumbaga. Okay? So, as you can see, at 1 unit of length, kung sabihin kong may 1 ka lang na length dyan, so magkakaroon ka ng 1 heartbeat. Okay? Pag hinabaan natin yung length na ginawa natin 4, magkakaroon ka daw ng period ng 2 heartbeat. Okay? So, note that the period of the pendulum is the time it takes for the pendulum to swing from left to right and back to its original position hanggang sa equilibrium niya. Okay, kung ilang oras yan. Okay? So ngayon, yung first question natin is, if a pendulum has a length of 49 units, kung may 49 units to yung pendulum natin, what is its period? So okay, tignan natin yung relationship ng ating length at period. Okay, dyan pumapasok yung inductive reasoning natin, di ba? So, papasok yung inductive reasoning natin in the sense that we are applying previous results, okay, with respect to the conclusion or to our results that is that we need to answer based on the question. So mapapansin mo na if we have this at 1, you can see na at a possible heartbeats, ito yun. So parang ito yung magiging input variables natin. Okay? Yan yung magiging input variable natin. Pag nagkaroon ako ng input ng 1, nagiging yung length of pendulum ko is 1. Diba? So, from this, pag naglagay ako ng 2, is 4. Pag 3 is 9, pag 4 is 16, 5 is 25, and 6 is 36. So, from that conjecture, okay, from the analysis, okay, makakabuo tayo ng pattern. Wherein, if you would multiply these elements by themselves, like 1 multiplied by 1, we will have 1. 2 multiplied by 2, we will have 4. 3 multiplied by 3, we will have 9. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. And 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. And 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. From that, therefore, I can say that pag nagkaroon ako ng 7, okay, if I will have 49 units of length, so pag 49 daw to, okay, so therefore I may say that since I will multiply it by itself, let's say the period of pendulum, yung period ng pendulum natin is equal to x, okay, and then ito yung magiging output natin f of x. So note na minumultiply natin sila by itself, so f of x multiplied by x is equal to x squared. So pag nag-input ako ng 1, I will have 1 multiplied by 1, tama? Or 1 squared, so may 1 ako. Pag 2 naman yung in-input ko, I will have 2 squared which is equal to 4. Pag 3 naman yung input ko, I will have 3 squared which is equal to 9. Pag 4 naman yung input ko, I will have 4 squared which is equal to 16. At 5 naman yung in-input ko is 5 squared which is equal to 25. At pag 6 naman yung in-input ko, I will have 6 squared which is equal to 36. So therefore, if I will have 7 heart, I will have 49 units. So if f of, let's say f of x is equal to 49, therefore 49 is equal to x squared. So getting the square root of both sides, I may say that my x is equal to 7. So therefore at 49 units, I will have 7 heartbeats. So based from that pattern, that would be our answer. Okay? So second, so lalagay ko dito since the length of pendulum is equal to the period squared, therefore I may say that at 49 units, which is equal to period squared, okay, so I will have a period equal to 7 heartbeats. Okay, so paano naman kung length of the pendulum is quadrupled daw? Okay, so anong pinakamagandang gawin natin dito? So ang magiging pattern natin dito for our inductive reasoning is maghahanap tayo or magko-compare tayo ng dalawang value. Example, yung value ng length 1, okay, so length 1 at length 2, ito yung para magiging reasoning natin, di ba? So take note that at 1 unit, pag quadruple ko siya, magkakaroon tayo ng 4, tama? So from that 4, I will have an heartbeat equal to 2. Okay? Next is etong 4. Pag quadruple natin yung 4, so mag-multiply tayo ng 4, magkakaroon tayo ng length of unit which is 16. Diba? Which is probably our 4. Diba? Yung heartbeat niya is 4. So, from this, isipin nyo itong table na to. At 1 unit length, so at 1 unit length, we have 4 heartbeat, 1 heartbeat. So if you would quadruple this unit length, we will have 2 heartbeats, right? But what would happen to our heartbeat? So it would multiplied by 2, di ba? Kasi 1 multiplied by 2 is equal to 2, which is the period of this one. So pag quadruple ko naman tong 4, so I will have a 16. So from that 16, I will have 4 heartbeat. So which is twice my heartbeat at 4, heartbeat at 2 with the length 4 when my length is quadrupled. Okay. So making my conjecture, therefore, the relationship between the length of pendulum and the period of pendulum is that if I will quadruple the length, quadruple, or let's say ano kaya magandang one dito? Okay, quadruple na lang. So quadruple the length my heartbeat or my period in terms of heartbeats will be doubled. Okay? So, ayan. Alright? So, may tinatawag tayong counter examples. Ano nga ba itong counter example na to? Ang counter example is, ito yung ginagawa natin para i-penetrate yung conjecture natin. Okay? So, these are the examples that would make your conjecture either true or false. Okay? Para ma-disapprove yung conjecture. Okay? So, pag hindi ma-disapprove yung conjecture based on the different counter example na sinabi natin, therefore, that conjecture is true. Okay? Pero pag nag-disapprove siya, therefore, that conjecture, okay? Or that conjecture is false. Okay? So, example. Okay. Pag sinabi natin na, let's say, Clarito has the conclusion that the sum of two numbers is always more than the greater number. Okay. So take note that how would you penetrate this conjecture? So ang yan, mag-iisip ka ngayon. Siyempre, pag nag-add ako ng dalawang number, let's say, diba sabi niya, the sum of two numbers. So, any number to. Hindi niya sinabi kung it is a natural number or an integer. Ayan, diba? Pag sinabi niya sa ng natural number, so, pero yung gagamitin natin will be 1 plus 3. So, 4, always greater than the greater number. 5 plus 2, 7, always greater than the greater number. Pero ang mali niya dito is that, ang mali ni Clarito dito is that, the sum of two number. Hindi siya nagbigay ng sabihin nating specific field, okay? Or specific variation ng number. So ngayon, ang gagawin ko, magre-raise ako ng hand to prove that his conjecture is wrong. Okay? So, magsasabi ako ng integers. Okay? Wherein, I may state negative integers. Just like, negative 1 plus negative 3, which is equal to negative 4. Diba? So, greater number is negative 1. Pag kinuha natin yung sum nila, we have negative 4, which is the sum is not always greater than the greater number, right? So therefore, since adding negative integer by adding negative integers, therefore I may say that the conjecture is wrong. Okay, ito yung example, ito yung tinatawag nating counter example. These are examples just to me are made which the sole purpose is to make the conjecture wrong. Okay, or to penetrate the conjecture. So example, so x is absolute value of x is always greater than 0. Note, absolute value means gagawin mo siyang positive, okay? In layman's term. Gagawin mo lang positive kahit let's say meron kang value na negative 1, absolute value niya is always positive 1. Negative 2, pag kunin mo yung absolute value niya is always greater than is always positive. Okay, kaya siguro nasabi niya that this is the conjecture. Okay? Pero ano yung counter example natin dyan? So, how about if x is equal to 0? Okay? So, from this statement, therefore, I may say that this conjecture will be wrong if at x is equal to 0. At x is equal to 0, the conjecture is, or the conjecture, okay? Conjecture is wrong. Okay? How about if sinabi niyang x is greater than or equal to 0? So, ito yung tamang conjecture. Okay? Next. So, x squared is greater than x. How about if I will have a value equal to x equals 1? Isn't it that the square of any number is always equal to 1, diba? Is always equal to the square of 1 is always equal to 1. Okay? So therefore from this preposition, 1 is greater than 1, so therefore the conjecture is wrong, or the conjecture is wrong. The conjecture is wrong. And so these are examples of our counter example. So take note, counter example, so our purpose is to give examples that would make the conjecture wrong. So pag gumawa ka ng ganun, therefore the conjecture that was given was wrong. Pag magkaroon ka ng counter example. Okay? Ayan.